Welcome back to the Prime Dude, guys. I'm Rob Edwards, your host, and it is dress shoe review time. A Brogue from Loake Shoemakers in Northampton, England. Fantastic online system, made it real easy for me to get my hands on this shoes, to wear it. I've already done the unboxing video, guys. I'm going to share it with you now, and then once I have it out of the box, I'm going to go over this thing in every detail, share with you the stitches per inch, how the fudging looks, all the things you need to know about a shoe that is an investment at a $530 US price point. Now, before we jump into the unboxing and review of Loake Buckingham Brogue shoe, I want to thank you guys for the support thus far, and I want you to like, subscribe, and share. Put this show on alert. It's growing. I really appreciate the support. And of course, comments, suggestions, criticisms are welcome. So without any delay, guys, the Loake Buckingham 1880 Classic Brogue dress shoe review. Let's do it. All right, guys, let's get into it. Before we look online at the details of the Buckingham Brogue Oxford, the 1880 Classic, I want to give you a quick history update. That's right, a little bit of history for you heathens. If you don't want to listen about Loake, jump ahead. I got chapters. First of all, Loake Shoemakers was founded in 1880 by three brothers, John, Thomas, and William Loake. They founded the company and started working out of William's home. 1880, so this is obviously a historied company. They have now grown to over 300 employees and a 20,000 square foot factory in one of the most advanced, from what I've read, shoe factories in all of the world. Quick on the history, really impressive. When they hit World War I, they supported soldiers, supporting staff, shoes, boots, you name it. They were a big part of that effort, as so many of these companies have been through the World War I and World War II histories of Europe. They survived a fire, massive, devastating fire in 1929. Of course, celebrated their 50-year anniversary in 1930, established a big-time brand and upped production after World War II, as so many companies did in Europe in the Great Boom. And they're just a fantastic Goodyear welting shoe company out of England. Everything you'd expect from a fantastic English shoe company. And now I want to get into the actual shoe that I'm going to review and give you a quick update on what it looks like, what to expect when you go to the website. I was really impressed. First of all, the price point. This is no joke, right? This is not a cheap dress shoe. This is a full leather sole. F-Fit is their standard width. And like I said, it's the 1880s Classic Collection. What you know about that is you know that these are made in England. Now, it's important to know, as they've gotten larger and wanting to offer dress shoes to different price points, people at different price points, they have some professional lines and other lines that are almost half of this $530 price point, definitely around $300. Those tend to be made in their factory in India, but as they say, designed and drawn out from scratch in England by their folks. So they've outsourced to save money, but not in the 1880 Classic and some of the other lines. This one was not only designed, but this was handmade, Goodyear welted in the factory in Northampton, England. Like I said, full leather soles, Goodyear welted. I'll talk more about this construction in detail under the close-up camera. You can see here beautiful broguing and fudging. This is what you expect in a Brogue Oxford design. At the vamp, at the lacing system, you see these nice tight stitches. I'm going to count those stitches per inch measurement when I get over to the shoe table, but I can tell right now from the picture my expectations were pretty high. This is all about craftsmanship and details in what they call their brown. Now, as you can see here, the hue has a slight cognac tone to it. I would say definitely for sure, if I come back to the main camera, that this bad boy does have a slight cognac hue to it, which I really like. So it's not a classic medium brown that you'll see and maybe even polish with your Saphir shoe cream. I use the medium on this, but I also mixed in a little bit of cognac in my shoe care after I wore them. So newsflash, I've already worn these. That review is done and it's coming up. So without further ado, we've already taken a look at the shoe. We know the price point, leather sole, Goodyear welted, classic English shoe. Let's see if it holds up in the lab and then holds up when I wear it for a few times and get it breaking in What do you think, guys? Let's step over to the table. Okay, the box, nice box. Loake knows what they're doing. Beautiful green with gold. Now let's look at the shoes. First, they give you a book, a nice little story about how things are at Loake, the history like we talked about. Of course, shoe bags, which you'd expect. A shoe's over $500. Beautiful Brogue wingtip. You see the brown, it's almost like cognac, which I love. The design is almost flawless, and of course the soles are gorgeous. Let's now get to the table and the details. This is the Loake from the 1880 classic line, and I just unboxed it a couple hours ago. Real excited to wear this shoe this week. I wanted to do this review. My wife knows how excited I am about getting a pair of shoes when I plan ahead and I see that FedEx is bringing something. The Buckinghams from Loake cost $535 US, and I'm going to get into the details now. Right, so I own a few Brogues in different shoemakers. This might become my favorite pretty quickly. This is just impeccably detailed, and a little history of broguing. This dates back to 16th century Scotland, and the brogues were actual punch holes then. These aren't holes through and through the upper leather of the shoe, but back in 16th century Scotland, these brogues, these punched holes, were a solution for water evacuation. So if you were doing the Highlander thing through the river, through the lakes, into the ocean, you didn't have to worry about your shoes, your boots retaining water because they punched holes in it. And so it's pretty stylistic now. There's no actual function. And if you watch my favorite style host, Oki on Ask Oki, and his counterpart Pete, they will tell you this is not typically a formal shoe, that the broguing and the wingtip and all of this shoe action here, medallion toe cap, a favorite of mine. You see that commonly in a lot of dress shoes, Italian, English, and the like. And so Oki will tell you this is not probably something he wouldn't wear this with a suit. I would. I see myself as definitely a disciple of folks like Oki and Pete, but I have to westernize a bit, Americanize if I will, and this is perfectly acceptable, I believe, to wear with a suit or slacks. I absolutely love fudging. I do, especially when it's so neat and tight and lined up with the stitching so well, this single line of stitching. Fudging was functional when it first came out. It was actually a way on the leather to mark your stitch points, I believe the entry and exit points. And you can see here they're lined right up, but now they're more decorative. And on the sole, on the outsole here, you'll see that very unique to Loake. I have not seen this in many shoes. They have a fudging imprint design lined up with the stitching and on the outsole. And so this is a Goodyear welted shoe. You can see it here on the back, made in England, Goodyear welted, which is, again, really the best way to make a strong, water-resistant, sealed shoe with that leather strap of leather strap running around, dividing the outsole and the upper, and your sole being stitched strong to that Goodyear welt makes it easy and possible for cobblers to replace the sole. And so we'll talk a bit about the sole now. This is a fully leather sole, except for this 1/4 inch tab, if you will, on the heel, which helps for traction. Otherwise, it's just beautiful, smooth leather with open channel stitching. Now, what I love about this, and Preston Soto has pointed this out with other shoes, some shoes I have coming to me, being sent to me, that have this as well. Although it's open channel, the stitching is canaled. That's a term I use. I made it up, I think. Haven't heard it, but it's embedded into a groove here. That's not always standard with Oxford shoes, with dress shoes, because a lot of times, like with Allen Edmonds, the stitching, the outer sole stitching is actually exposed when you walk. There's no canal protecting beneath the layer, right, of the stitching. So I like this detail. It adds extra protection to these stitches, to your upper, to your welt, and it's a really fantastic just design detail from a shoe that should live up to this at $535 US. Now, jumping to our upper. First, let's talk about stitching, and this is something I learned over the years with SPI, stitches per inch. It's an actual measurement
for these dress shoes, and it's a measurement in quality and really durability. So this I measured to being 12 stitches per inch, which is right on the money for a luxury dress shoe. You should at least be 10 to 12 stitches per inch for your dress shoe if it's considered luxury and high quality. This certainly is that. Anything less you'll see in really good shoes, 8 to 10, but you start getting over 12 and above, it shows that it's a tighter construction, right? More stitches per inch. This, by my measurements, is actually more stitches per inch, SPI, than my Alden Balmorals, my classic Alden English dress shoes. So nice work from Loake in this detail of a fine luxury shoe to have that high, a 12 stitch per inch SPI measurement. Now I want to talk about the contour, if you will, of the upper. What's nice about this is it has almost, not quite, but if you see the last, right, the shape of this last, this is the capital last from Loake in the Buckingham. It's not as tanky, as bulky as some English dress shoes. This has a sleek, almost Italian-esque contour to it. Nice waist here. You can see the sole. It's not a completely beveled in type of waist, but it's still, when you look at it, and I tilt it up for you, there is some nice bevel you can see here to the waist, right? Nice and hippie, as I like to say, this shoe, and that gives it some contour, some extra shape, and real just aerodynamics. Now, moving into more design, so I've talked about the beautiful fudging. We've talked about the 12 stitch per inch measurement that I made myself. Let's get into this medallion toe cap and this wingtip design for the Brogue. I just think this is classy, and really as classy as it gets. It really makes a statement, especially in the United States. You don't see wingtips like this as much as you'd like. So you can probably tell by my voice, I get excited again thinking about wearing this to some meetings this week. It will get compliments. Shoes like this do. Of course, I don't wear it for that. I wear it for those of you out there who recognize quality in an English dress shoe like this. But I love the medallion design. All right, let's jump to the heel. I talked about this 1/4 inch tip of rubber on the back, but let's talk about the heel stack, right? And this is really nice. You can see, I'm going to count it with you. I haven't yet. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, technically 5. Maybe I'm doing that wrong, but you want at least 3. 3 heel stacks of leather in the heel for a quality dress shoe. This I count at least really 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? If you come back here, there's really 4 full heel stacks, not counting as you get towards the medial end of the heel. So we are well within the range. Again, not shocking. So far, this is indicated as a top class luxury Oxford dress shoe. And so you've got the beautifully stacked 4 pieces of leather here, clearly 4 in the range of a luxury dress shoe on this heel stack for what again is just a beautiful design, beautiful architecture in this dress shoe from Loake. Looking closer at the heel now, this is something I should have mentioned before, and again, it's pretty standard, even though it's not standard, pretty standard on a luxury dress shoe. But if I'm being picky, I noticed that this gentleman's corner, which is a cutout on the heel, it was really designed so that you don't catch the hem of your slacks when you walk. That's a pretty big break. I think this is something maybe Okie and Pete appreciate. They're a full break group for their slacks. I'm not quite as full, but definitely a break. Don't hopefully have to worry about this, but this is something that is called a gentleman's corner and is a little scraped. It tells me that this is probably a pair of shoes that saw somebody else. I can just see a little bit there, but again, that's going to happen with 5 steps. And what I know about shoes like this is that if somebody's paid this much to ship a pair of dress shoes and they don't fit, folks in our world, right, you're starting to pay more than $500 per shoe. You know that we're going to take care of it. I don't freak out. Some guys do. They want to know for sure. They'll email that their shoes have not been in anyone else's hands. I don't have time for that, really. Part of my, I think, appeal to my reviews and what I do here at the Prime Dude is that I'm a full-time working professional, travel the world and really test these shoes, like I said. And I know folks like you out there, if you get a pair of shoes that don't fit perfectly and you need to send them back, you take good care of it, you take a few steps, and I can see that there are no creases in the vamp. That's what I do look for. There are no creases around the lacing system. There's no wear or tear anywhere, but I did see a little bit on what they call the gentleman's corner. That's about it. The condition of the shoe came perfect. Guys, to close out this review, again, this is the Buckingham in brown from Loake Shoemakers. Full leather sole, except for the quarter inch rubber tip here on the heel, but just a beautiful leather stacked leather sole, brown brogue. I'd say hints of cognac in there, but a nice, easy to care for medium brown, beautiful fudging, medallion toe here. Absolutely love that in a wingtip, guys. And I really want to thank you for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, put on your alerts for shoe reviews like this. If you've watched before, you know I'm reviewing just about every dress shirt out there, suits that I can get my hands on, so that you guys can learn from my experiences working around the world. Can't wait to wear these shoes from Loake and give you a follow-up review in 6 months. This is definitely something I love to do, and really excited about this pair of shoes. Hope I gave you some insights before you might order from Loake. So far, I can definitely recommend them. I'm looking at a black, just straight penny loafer from them, and if these shoes feel as good as they look and hold up over a few wears, I'll be ordering those and definitely giving you a review, because I am in the market for one more black classic sleek penny loafer, and I think based on the composition and design of the shoe, I've got one picked out already at Loake. Check out their website, guys. They've got fantastic, sleek designed, beautiful English dress shoes for you on their website, and they ship again very quickly to the United States and all parts of the world, so you can get these shoes in your hands pretty quickly. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and stay prime.
All right, guys. Had a chance to wear them. We've already been at the table. We went through everything in detail, but now I've had my experience wearing this beautiful brogue, right, from Loake Shoemakers on the road while traveling through airports, hotels, meetings. It was a good 4 days of alternating this with an already broken in shoe. That's like how I like to do it, right? Bring something that I already am comfortable in and then put it up against this beautiful tank of a shoe from Loake. And I'm telling you, there's a break-in period, right? I'm still in it after 4 wears, but I can tell you for sure this got a lot more comfortable as I wore it. I'll put up some video. Again, I was everywhere with these things. I'll give you a few points as we walk through this. One, you're going to feel, if you have hammer toes, especially like me, you're going to feel some pushback, some resistance at the vamp. The leather, again, is high-quality calfskin leather. They've finished this perfectly. It's beautiful, and it is great construction. Remember, this is a Goodyear welted shoe, so you're investing in strength and longevity. So I have no worries about that. Yeah, on my toe knuckles, I had some redness. This is standard. It's what it takes for the big boys to break in a luxury shoe that comes in at $535, now $525. Already gone down a little bit in the last couple weeks, but I can highly recommend these. That's what I want to get to, guys. It's definitely a fantastic shoe. The look is highly complimented. People were going nuts because, like I said before, they call it brown, but it almost has a little dark cognac to it, almost like a bourbon whiskey, which makes it stand out compared to my traditional medium brown dress shoes. Like I said, it walks great. The construction, you can feel the strength in how it wears. That's my final part of the recommendation, because it's fantastic when these shoes look good, and I know it's not going to break in quickly like a Blake stitch, right? We're going to talk more about those in my other shoe reviews, like Beckett Simonin. It's actually Beckett Simonin. And that's different because you're going to feel more comfortable quickly, like with a Bologna stitch, right? An Italian-style stitching that's similar to Blake, that's not Goodyear welting, and isn't going to be easy to repair or resole down the road like you get with that beautiful Goodyear Welt. So in closing, guys, big recommendation, real quick, review of the price point. Don't forget, mid 500s, $535. But if you compare it to an Allen Edmonds, they retail for a similar type of shoe at $425. I think it's worth the $100 investment. The shipping's actually faster. So this particular 1880 Classic is made in Northamptonshire, England, in the famous Loake factory that we talked about in the beginning of the show. They use FedEx. It got here literally in like 2 business days. So if you're ordering from their ready to wear, you can get these shoes quickly, faster than some of these US companies. Final thing to remind you of before I forget, almost did. This has the traditional metal shank in the sole. I was wearing this home through security at Miami International last week, and I did ding the security. So you got to be ready for that. If you travel like me, I always like to have my loafers, something in a Blake stitch or that I know doesn't have that traditional steel shank in the sole, in the base of the shoe to add strength and comfort, right? Stability. Just know that some companies don't use steel. Loake, the Massachusetts shoemaker, Alden still uses steel. So you got to be ready for that. That will set off security if you're traveling in these shoes. You just keep that in mind. I don't think it's a reason not to get them. Like I said, I highly recommend these as an English brogue. Oxford, beautiful, but it is a factor when you travel, so I wanted to close with that. Thanks again, guys, for tuning in. More shoe reviews coming. Really appreciate the support. Like, subscribe, hit the alert button. We're coming soon with more content here. Again, thanks for the support and stay prime.